Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. Wednesday, the day after yesterday, I guess. Let's go to the charts, guys. Most things are up here today. So coming to the E-mini having that dip over the Johnson & Johnson vaccine being bad yesterday, but then CPI pushing us back up. And then a 30-year auction being pretty good, and into the close. Once again, we get the ramp in here overnight. Not much movement. Now, remember, China is kind of pulling back on the stimulus, okay? China is holding their banks back now, and so we are often coming into the trading day without much action overnight. So it seems at first that it's like, oh, it's down. This might be a range-bound day. You know, like a lot of the strategies that I think people were using were kind of judging the overnight action. Now that the China stimulus is not a thing, we kind of have to adjust. And so we have to just trade off of what's happening here in the United States. So there's the E-mini. Now in Treasuries had a pretty big move up yesterday. So the CPI data wasn't as bad as it could have been. So I think that that's one factor, although I will say it was still hot. And then there was pretty good demand for the 30 years. So, I'm noticing, though, that the 30 has always been, well, not always, but for quite some time now, it has been the one with the most demand. Okay. People want to get out on the curve because short-term interest rates just absolutely suck. Okay. So, but I don't know if that's a temporary thing or what. I saw a lot of interesting stuff in the spreads here. You can see in the 2 and 10, quite a bit of flattening over here, but in the 30-year, it actually steepened. That's kind of come off since then, but so we got all that going on. Now into the commodities, oil starting to pick up a little bit, looking like it's gaining a little bit of momentum. So maybe they'll break out of this range that they've been in for a while. We'll see. Gold doing quite well yesterday, as did silver, but still kind of just recovering some bad action back here, right? Still, I'm looking like 26 in silver, and I think maybe we could start to get some momentum in there. I don't know. Doesn't seem to me at the moment that the market is actually that concerned about inflation. And then here you got copper. Copper doing quite well. So, and then finally, I should just do the dollar first. The dollar's so important, but look, the dollar yesterday after that CPI data just getting obliterated. So now we're quite low compared to the past. In fact, now we kind of have to come back here to our daily chart to see, okay, so we are coming into an area where there's some support, above 91. But this could very easily turn into new lows for the year, right? Okay, so now coming over here, I haven't looked. We got some news coming, import-export prices here in 4 minutes. We also got the EIA gasoline this week. April has kind of been a weird week or weird month for fundamental data, so I'm so mad that I sold my Dodge at 10. They had a little bit of a move yesterday, didn't they? Let's go look. I didn't explicitly see that it had moved, but I'm seeing a lot of people talking about it all of a sudden. I was kind of thinking about tweeting about it yesterday, but I didn't. Oh wait, what am I going? Watch list. Dogecoin 80%. Is that a new high though? It is. It is a new high. Need like a 3-month chart here. It's actually way more than, but how much volume did they have to do? Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Well, hold on. I need to blow my nose. Also would help if you could see the chart I'm looking at. Yeah. They did break out to 12. Listen, man, on a thing like that, you just got to remember execution impact, right? If people buy it, it'll go up. Even in the coin with like Doge, where there's so much supply coming in, if somebody puts $1 billion into it, it's going to move up. How much money was it exactly? It was like, wow, $13 billion exchanged hands. Yeah. Okay, that's going to move it, but you got to remember that if $13 billion moves it up, how much is going to move it down if they sold that much, right? So it's one of those things where the reality is you can't really catch the top, or if you catch the top in a move like that, you got lucky. Okay, because when it goes down so quickly that you can't really catch it. And oftentimes, especially in cryptocurrency, they just shut things down. Now, it could be... Oh my gosh, my armrests are all screwed up. Now, today we got Coinbase going live, so I'm sure that is going to be a big factor in all of the cryptocurrencies right now, right? So here, let's see the import-export prices. This typically isn't a huge mover, but... Okay. So what I'm seeing here is that the import prices came in at twice the estimate. 2% versus 1%. I don't know if that would be obviously the market's not reacting to it. That seems like evidence of inflation. I don't know. I'm really watching now. It seems to me that CPI is not a very good measure of inflation right now. It's not picking up the inflation that we are very clearly seeing. Like, especially lumber. Holy crap, man. The price of building a house is so ridiculous right now. None show up in CPI at all. I mean, it was a spot 5, but when you go into the numbers, the increase was largely from energy, which is kind of like, it's actually not that bad. I really think at some point, say that these numbers stay like this in the CPI into the fall, there's going to be a point at which the market is going to be like, no, there's inflation and you're hiding it from us. Can't go on for everywhere. Jamie Dimon in the JP Morgan conference call don't know what happened with leverage. Everywhere with leverage. Yeah, okay. Well. Because I went all in like a monkey. Well. But the thing, you're falling into the trap, Keller. Do you not see the trap here? You're saying to yourself, I could have known that it would go up more, and therefore I should have stayed in. But the reality is that if some rich guy is going to YOLO in $1 billion on Dogecoin tomorrow, There is no way that you could ever possibly know or predict that. It's literally random. There's no like, on a short time frame like that, making a prediction about one individual person making a trade, you can't do it. It's not possible. We don't have the information or ability to forecast something like that. So then you come in and you get this thing where it's like, I should have known. See, it's your mind playing tricks on you, saying that you should have known that it was going to go further. Of course, you can look at if you have like predictive signals and you ignored and you mismanaged those, then that's a totally different thing, right? But especially when it comes to cryptocurrencies, the only thing that matters is front running the whale. And how do you know that the whale's going to come in? People saying they made 400% all in leverage using Binance on the 60.3 Bitcoin rally from, and Guru saying, see, I told him to go. Well, yeah. Well, but here's the thing is, could you go in and predict that Bitcoin would pump ahead of the Coinbase offering? I think so, yeah. I do. Like, honestly, I think that if you're in something and you get an unusually large move, if you're day trading in something and you get an unusually large move, I can't tell you how many times I've seen a move like that and then it goes further, for sure. Always seems to go further than you expect. But if you don't know why it's going, if there's not like some catalyst, if there's not some news, the chances of it snapping right back to the, where it started are really high as well. And so I have found that if you get an unusual pop, a smart thing to do is to just take your profit. So, well, that's why I got out, because the fanboys are coming in hard, and that ironically scares me. Well, you just got to remember that particularly with Dogecoin, there's a pretty big limit to how far they can go. Oh man, so there's like a really bad wind, and it has caught something on the side of the house, and it is kind of banging, and I'm really tempted to just go out there and fix it. Well, that's what I did. I am like 40% in a week. Yep. So I'm not sure what would be considered like a big move in cryptocurrency, but one thing I will say is that patterns. So there used to be this thing called the BART, right? You're familiar with the BART, right? You have a stock, it comes up and it goes like this, and then it goes, and then it goes, right? We don't really get those anymore, but that was like somebody getting in and then it not doing anything and dumping. Cryptocurrencies tend to be more like, and then there you go, and they'll consolidate. They like to do these ascending triangles, is what I've found. That's just the issue with the ascending triangle, is like it works until it doesn't, right? And we're kind of in a place where like it stopping working could be like any moment, And also, again, I think that the dominant factor in this market right now is Coinbase being listed. Okay, starting to trade on the NYSE or wherever it is. They're going to want to keep the price nice. And I'm sure that they're going to want to keep it nice for a while. At least, if I'm a Coinbase guy, I'm wanting to cash in. So I don't know how long that persists, but at some point, I really do not believe that what the cryptocurrencies are doing right now is sustainable. It's entirely based on people buying it. You know what I mean? So like a commodity is a really great example. Yeah, if somebody comes into copper and buys a bunch of copper contracts, it's going to move price up. They're going to say that's demand coming in and it has an impact on the price, right? But, big but, if you are a miner and you just, you know something about that the supply is going to come in and it's going to be super, super big, yeah, you can sell it because there are people that they make the copper and they sell it. In Bitcoin, because the supply is fixed and can't change really, you don't get that dynamic, right? So there's no underlying mechanism to really force Bitcoin to stay at a high price, right? There's a floor. There's a floor where miners, there's a floor where it tends to not go below that floor. I think that there's kind of an incentive to keep it from going below that floor because that's when like miners start losing money, but it can definitely go below it. And then miners start losing money and go out of business. That happens too. And then there's also the floor that is created just by people using the coin. Okay. And that's like way, 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 way down there, right? But if you're at the high end of that, what's going to keep you up there, right? I don't think that there's any fundamental catalyst that can really keep you up there. The only thing that can keep you up there is more people wanting to come in and buy, and you have to think, what is the limit? At what point are all of the people that are interested in getting in on this thing in, What are we looking for today, up or down? Well, we've had a pretty strong rally the past few days. That's the only thing that I can really say on whether we're going to be up or down today, man. I don't think at this point I can really but look at this rally, man. We've had a few like small up days, but it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We will now be 6 days in a row. Positives. That's a lot. But we are getting earnings today, right? So the bank started things out. JP Morgan is reporting, and so far JP Morgan has been down. I'm going to bet that all of the other banks are going to be hurting from that today. So that certainly doesn't help. Something else that we need to keep in mind here. So look, first of all, nothing is down. Nothing on my watch list is down. So do you really want to sell today? Okay, but the E-mini is spot 4 and the RTY is spot 5. NQ is spot 3. So we've been seeing something really weird over the past 2 days, which is we're rallying, but it's like a risk off rally where everybody flies to the big cap techs, which, those were kind of coming off a little bit. There was this value trade that was coming in, and then it seems like the value trade is kind of sputtered out and people want to go back to Apple and Google. Isn't that weird? Does Goldman Sachs report before the bell this morning? My nose is really dry. Man, that sound is going to drive me batty. You know what? I'm going to go out and look, okay? I will be right back since nothing's happening right now. Can you show us the Bitcoin valuation oscillator reading for today? Well, you can go to the Patreon and you can look at the reading that it was giving a week ago. And I can tell you that it doesn't really look much different. It's oscillating up at the very top, something that it has never done before. It is quite unusual. How this turns out, I guess we can't really say because, even though I would say it's overvalued, that doesn't mean that they have to stop. I don't think that you can completely know the exact moment that it's going to stop. But what I would be keeping an eye out for in Bitcoin at this moment is some sort of a blow off top catalyst, right? So, and Coinbase could certainly be the sort of thing that could do that, right? A big increase of demand for cryptocurrencies all at once, price shooting off, the insiders getting out, price coming back to where everybody got in and then pushing lower, and creating the situation where enough people are underwater that you can start downside momentum, right? The marginal buyer, they call it, could happen in cryptocurrencies. And I would just say that a lot of tops in Bitcoin have happened around events like this, right? Like the Bitcoin futures going live was the top in 2017, right? So Coinbase going live? I think so. And like, honestly, when you look at the numbers and everything that Coinbase posts, I just don't see how anybody sits down and says, this is this is going to go on forever. Thomas, you have the subscription anyways, right? I do need to go and post it today, and I will make sure I will do that. But it looks pretty much the same. I've been, I don't know. I don't post it every day anymore because I don't feel like there's something to say every day. And I kind of feel bad. Maybe I really should just post it every day and forget about it, but I don't know what to do. I've been, I'm going to get into something long here. Let me go check outside first, all right? All right. It is a mess out there. This is just the wheelbarrow on the side of the house kind of rocking back and forth. I have a Traeger grill that I purchased, a few months ago, and we've made good use of it. And it's been falling over in windstorms. So this time I put it up against the house so that when the wind blows it won't tip over, right? And it tipped back over the other way. But what must have happened is the wind came and pushed it this way, and then it rocked back and fell down. So I did it again. I hope that it's okay. It's fallen a few times and it's been fine. So, a little banged up, but the grill was fine. I don't know, man. I don't know what to do about it. It's like I need to attach it to an anvil or something, because the legs on it are just not sturdy enough. Good morning, Bill. So anyways, what was I going to get into? Oh yeah. So I don't know. I'd been feeling a little bit bored. I guess is really the word, but I'm not sure what it was. Yesterday it was hitting me particularly hard. And I don't know if it's just the cycle, because sometimes I'll go through this cycle of euphoria, depression sort of a thing. And I wouldn't really call it depression and euphoria. It's not that extreme, but I do get periods where I feel man, nothing's going right. And then I have periods where it's everything's going right. How is everything so great? And I was kind of feeling that yesterday, especially since view count has been down a little bit. I think that there could be a lot of reasons for that, of course, right? I haven't made a YouTube video, a one-off YouTube video, in a long time. A lot of people are saying that you should unlist your live streams afterwards because it decreases the engagement. I'm not sure that that's true. Or I don't think that it applies to me. Maybe if you're a channel where it's primarily your YouTube videos and you do a stream on a one-off, and then that's one video that doesn't do well compared to your other videos, and that would maybe decrease how much it sends stuff out to your subscribers. I don't know. I don't think that that's the case. It's also the market's been tight, and so things come and go. We've noticed it's not the first time that we've seen a decrease in viewers, and I guess it really isn't that much. Captain Axelred says don't be so dramatic. It's probably not. View count is down because it skyrocketed during the GME craze, right? It was kind of inevitable when that stuff happens. Yeah, well, and that's another thing that's kind of interesting is and that was kind of one of the things that got me thinking about Steve was okay, I do want YouTube to be successful. I enjoy making videos and I enjoy making content, and the thing that I enjoy the most is having a community. I feel I've been doing online communities since I was 14 years old. And I feel that at this point that I have a pretty good idea of where the problems are and how to run things, right? Which maybe is not what everybody likes, but it's damn effective, right? You don't put up with any shit. Somebody comes in and wants to start being toxic in that community, bye-bye. We have no time for that. You know what I mean? But you guys in chat are so great. We've had so many great people come through, and yeah, sometimes people come and go, but that's just kind of part of a community, right? But overall, I'm still really happy with where things are right now and how things are going and what the future looks like. But I do look at things and I kind of starting to see some limitations, right? I want to come in and I want to say, okay, here's everything that I've learned, and I'm just going to give you everything. And I found that there's problems with that, right? One is that it reduces the edge, and then you can't necessarily use it yourself, right? Let me turn the auction vista back on. I just had that up so that we could see Bitcoin, but it doesn't matter anymore. I don't really use the auction vista very much, though, to be honest with you. And I kind of want to rearrange my workspace, but I don't know how to do it. We'll talk about that later. Yeah, anyways, you share everything, and then there goes some of your edge is one thing. But then another thing is that I found that when I really get into the deeper stuff, people don't really particularly care or understand. So if we have a pop-off event Like a lot of people came in because of the GameStop thing, right? We were up over, thousands of viewers, but do they stick around? No. Because, why not? Because most people aren't interested in day trading futures and treasuries and equity, equity indexes. It's like a really niche, complicated thing, and most people don't have the attention span for it, right? So I kind of got to start thinking, well, if I really, really enjoy the YouTube and building community sort of a thing, you've kind of got to expand, right? So that's where I said, oh, let's do Stock Market Steve. Yeah, at first I thought, well, we'll just make the channel more general. I'm not so sure that's going to work. But Stock Market Steve is great because you can just be funny. You know what I mean? I honestly don't think you lose any edge by talking about your strategy. You just said people don't really care when you talk about it. The truth is, even if you have your exact strat, I have some math that suggests that on some of the things that I'm using, if more than 100 people were using them, they wouldn't work. Some of them. And it depends on what the market is doing at that time. But especially like a period like right now, if I were to take a trade off of one of my edges and there was 100 other people doing it, it would not work. And I can show, I won't. I would have to like prepare to be able, but there is math that shows that this will happen. Yeah, because of the Q maybe. Yeah, Q is a big part of it, yes. I care, but I don't always understand when you get into the complicated stuff. Yeah. That's the other thing, is that maybe I'm not good at explaining it. Maybe I do think some of these things are even new concepts to me, and so I might not be the best person to be explaining them. But there's also other things. I think that there are other things that I do. I got to tell you, there are some things with the way things move when I'm like, okay, well, but I think it could come back to here. And I really can't explain to you how I know that. Like that GameStop the other day was a really good example. I look at that chart and I'm like, well, usually when you get a really big plunge like this, there is an attempt at a recovery, and I bet you that they come back up to here. And I can just identify it on the chart. There's the spot where there was kind of like a little pause halfway through the move, and that's where they're going to come back to. And I can't completely explain how I know that in that particular situation that spot matters, but is it intuition? I don't know. Are you using the Ninja Jigsaw Bridge? Not really. So what I'm doing right now, Captain. By the way, are you newer today, or I mean, your name seems kind of familiar, but that might be because there's a bunch of other people that come in that have used the name Captain in the beginning. So what I do is I am using Rhythmic Day Trader Pro, or not. It's just called Rhythmic Trader Pro, and then you can hook multiple things into it. So the data is coming in from Rhythmic Trader Pro, and then Ninja Trader and Jigsaw are pulling it from there. Now, I could just be pulling it from, I could be using the bridge, and it's easy for me to like turn it on. Now, I've been watching you for a while, but YouTube unsubscribed me for something. Really? You know, I've heard people on channels saying, I've been unsubscribed from a channel before. And I've always thought, I don't know if that really happens or if that's a conspiracy theory, but apparently it is a thing. I don't know what causes that, but it's okay. People will come back and find us when they need us, right? That's the thing, is that if we got other stuff that's for like making the YouTube fun, then that's great, because then we can keep this for the thing that matters, which is for those of you that are really into trading and collaborating and developing strategies in that direction, right? It's the programming that aspects that I'm lost on. I tried to teach myself Visual Basic as a kid, and Visual Basic would be like one of the worst languages to start with, I think, even though it's supposed to be basic. Do you need multiple feeds on your Rhythmic site? I use it too. No. So Rhythmic basically set it up like that so that you could connect multiple platforms into it without having to pay that fee for multiple connections. Then the downside of that, though, is that Rhythmic has really started putting a lot on you. Like I think it's like $50 a month now after all of the fees that they get. It's actually getting quite silly. And they there's like multiple different ones. So at least for me, when they announced the changes and stuff, I didn't really realize how much it was going to cost me until the end of the month. So, which sucks, but I'm still happy enough with this is the thing that I hate is when, you got a platform, they're doing things that you don't like, but it's still the best option for you, But no, I don't use the bridge, and because I can get the data the other way, the only reason that I would want to use the bridge is if I had like an automated strategy going on over here in NinjaTrader, and then I wanted to manage that position in Jigsaw after it entered or whatever, Yeah, I'll have to get the Pro one too because I trade for a prop firm and it's around 100. Oh yeah, the Pro license. Are you doing one of those, like Top Step or somebody like that, or is it something else? Anyways, so I've been putting a lot of my creative energy into the stock market Steve thing. I'll go back on my regular TikTok account and I'm like, well, what should I talk about today? And it used to be that there would be something like almost every day that would be driving me nuts and that I want to talk about. But now it's like, I don't get that anymore. And I'm kind of feeling like, well, is it because I don't care as much anymore? Or I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. But I also kind of having a little bit of trouble thinking, okay, like, what am I going to do for Steve? I think the thing I got to do for Steve now is I got to get better openers. I think that like every video, it should be like the first thing that Steve says should be either really funny or shocking, right? And I think that he should start, saying more shocking things for the attention. So we'll see how that goes. See if we build things up. And then we can always come back into other things because I wouldn't mind, talking about other things. It's just, there's like, there's like all the personal finance and real estate and stuff. It's just like, there's other people on YouTube that does that, right? What's the thing that's unique for me? Well, it's me. It's me. And that was another point was I was looking at, I was like, okay, well, I am feeling a little bit down, but part of that is you're probably tired. and I probably, there you go. Not with your charisma. There you go. I don't know if I've been seriously charismatic the past like week. And that's just maybe the natural ebb and flow of things, Plus yesterday, I got into this discussion about something and I for some reason I said, I'm still kind of a little concerned about what I did yesterday because it's not like I did anything explicitly wrong. Like I said, oh, I'm not going to do this in the 10-year or anything like that. I have been from time to time saying, let's market make against the move and see if we can make it work out. But I've also been saying, let's get the one tick trade. And I don't get why after yesterday, I didn't say, let's get the one tick trade and instead like, let's market make against this move because that ended up being a really crazy up move. What happened yesterday? Well, that's what it was. So yesterday, the CPI data came out, and they immediately moved down. It reflexively moved down, I think, because it was higher than expected, so the robots took it. But I didn't hear the number, so when it went down, I just kind of like, it was like almost a reflex. I clicked, and it almost immediately was not working out, right? So I should have bailed on that one faster, but that's fine. I got out of it. I took my lick, and it was like, okay, fine. But then I said, well, but I think there's a limit to how high they can go up today. So I'm going to try making money off of this. So I did that, and I had like 5 contracts, and it came back down, and then I was talking, and I just completely lost track of it. And it didn't go to the spot that I wanted. And so I missed it. It went up, and then it ended up being, and it was sim, of course, but it was like $1,000 loss. And I'm looking at that, and I'm like, well, why did I do that? Why didn't I just say, okay, actually the move is up? But then the other thing is that there was a really strong up move yesterday that I really can't explain. I really can't explain. So when I miss something that big, it kind of bothers me. You know what I mean? But I don't know. This is why I've been in this. It's really frustrating for me, because when you look at this environment and you say, okay, is this an environment where Seth should be taking on some risk and, putting a lot of money at risk to make money in equities? And when Adrian says, I got short like you, but then went long. Yeah, see, I should have been rolling with the punches, and I didn't. And I don't know why I decided to be stubborn in that situation. But it seems like this would be a great environment to put on risk because it just goes up, right? But when I'm looking at it, I don't think that it is. At least not worth putting on risk from the futures trading perspective, right? Because it doesn't matter what I do or how good I am or how informed I am about that current situation. There's no way that I'm going to make more money than if you just went long and held long. You know what I mean? Because that's the environment that we're in. It just goes up, and when it's going to stop going up, I don't know if, like this whole Archegos thing. I don't know if we're necessarily competitive in that particular situation, like the thing that's like a risk for us. Fades are worth for a short period of time when fading sentiment, but especially in very short periods of time when market making. Yeah. I mean, I was able to pick the turns pretty okay in the treasury, so I don't know. Now we're going back into the low volatility environment. Now, this is an area I think that we could be getting into in the summer and the fall that we've prepared for and that I think I could do well in. We kind of like the markets appear to be fully priced in. We'll see at the end of this. We'll see at the end of this earnings season what they think. But we're at the year-end target for a lot of people, right? So that kind of makes it consolidated and stuff. What are your trading rules? Well, the main thing is I want to. So if I'm putting money at risk, I need to have something that I think gives me an explicit edge. If you're really interested in market making, you should look into Gary, but you won't be able to broadcast that silently unless you want a cease and desist. So, of course, I don't have the course still, but I did get a piece of information on Gary's course. It was from someone I don't even know. I wouldn't even be able to find them again, I don't think. Wasn't somebody that was like a regular or anything, and I don't know if that person had paid for it or if he had gotten like a pirated version from earlier or something. Although my understanding from the things that Jigsaw have put out is that they continue to modify the course, and that the course is a lot better than what it was when it was first released. So if you're downloading an illegal version of it, you're not getting like the full thing. Okay. But they told me one thing about it that I think gave me a pretty good idea of what he's doing, at least enough, not that I could necessarily trade it the way that he does it per se, but at least enough for me to tell you if it would be worth it for you or not. Gary Norton, the scalper, yes. They keep on adding. Did you purchase it, Lucas? Do you have it? Anyways, So how do I say this? So going back into like if you're going to develop something on your own, so there is a lot apparently that he says about the order book that would be useful. Maybe we can figure that out ourselves, maybe not. I don't know if it's really that complicated. But it was more about the kind of situation. And the thing that I would say is like, I kind of think that it's arbitrage is the way that it was explained to me. It actually sounds like what he's saying is that you should arbitrage. So, and I think that makes a lot of sense. And so I've been kind of regearing a couple of my things already, kind of moving more in the arbitrage direction, because everything that I go in for patterns, I can find like small edges, but it seems to me like there are patterns in the market and there are things that matter, but that there's so much noise. There's so much noise that it's not realistic for a retail trader to really be consistent off of them. That's what I'm starting to conclude. You know, like I get this one Gabby. She's been doing pretty okay. She's been doing pretty okay, but you know, there's drawdowns and stuff. So, my buddy is in market making, and they had to sign an NDA. Cannot tell me how much besides the size they do. Millions of dollars, tons of millions, intraday P&L swings. Yeah, I bet. Well, if you want to know about the market making algorithms, you know, there's actually quite a bit of scholarly research out there about those that you can look at. Why do you use Rhythmic Pro? You know, I don't remember. Oh, no, I do remember. So, instead of the bridge. So the thing is that I'm using NinjaTrader 8. I have a full NinjaTrader license that I get from being a ecosystem member. But I'm not using NinjaTrader as my broker at the moment. And so you can't use Rhythmic outside of the NinjaTrader. Like there's limitations. Like if you try and connect to Rhythmic if I try to connect directly to Rhythmic with NinjaTrader, it says, no, you can't use it basically. But you can use it on a SIM account though, or not a SIM account, like a SIM license, like the free license for NinjaTrader. It will let you connect to Rhythmic for trial purposes, right? So the reason that I ended up using Rhythmic Trader Pro was so that I can just run my demo license in NinjaTrader, and then I connect Jigsaw to Rhythmic Trader Pro, and I do all of my execution over there anyways. And that allows me to continue using both NinjaTrader and Jigsaw without being on the NinjaTrader brokerage. Now, I don't have anything against the NinjaTrader brokerage. It's just I've been an amp, you know? So I have a wad of change saved up. Yeah, I know NinjaTrader does offer Rhythmic. So I have a wad of cash saved up. So when AMP, I'm just right now, I'm just not really putting risk on. So I'm just going to let that account wind down with the monthly fees. So when that comes due, then I kind of have a decision to make, right? If I want to move over, if I want to just keep doing what I've been doing, which I don't know, I'm kind of been thinking lately, hey, Seth, you need to take more risks. You need to take more bigger risks because you've been very much like you just got your thing and you're doing it. You need to change things. But I could just stay with AMP. I could move over to Ninja Trader Brokerage so that I could use the full license and take advantage of all of that. It would be nice to have the Ninja Trader footprint back. I mean, there's obviously replacements for it, but that was kind of nice. Or I could go over to EdgeClear because, there's like the pools and stuff, and there's things that we could do together if we go over to EdgeClear. So I don't really know what I'm going to do. If you're using Jigsaw's charts, remember you won't have support with the Ninja Trader Bridge. That's correct. So, hold on. I opened the vent up because I needed cool air in here, but then this morning it's hot air coming out, so needed to close that. It was making me feel like I'm suffocating in here because it's getting hot. So Jigsaw released an update, by the way, for those of you who aren't aware. They're releasing a 3.0 release candidate. So I think what happened was they had a bug in the charts, and it took them a really long time to hunt it down. I totally get why, because it's like it's not written in C++, C#. I think it's like JavaScript and HTML5, the chart part. So they spent all this time, they fixed all of the bugs, they've got it performant, and they've built a lot of stuff into it so that, the charts can handle when you got a ton of market movement, but there's also like a limit so that the DOMs will still work well and things like that. So they got that there. So there's like no new features, but it fixes all the bugs from the previous versions, right? And then there's a survey. So if you use Jigsaw and you haven't gone over there and checked that out, go and check that out because there's a survey. And in the survey, they ask like what you would like to see worked on next. And support for the bridge is one of the things that are listed there. I don't really care about the bridge anymore, to be honest. But that's because I can do this thing with Rhythmic. So I don't know. I also, the thing though is there's the Jigsaw charts are nothing special. They get the job done, but there's nothing too special in them yet. Maybe they'll get there though. A big one is I would totally be using their footprint charts if I had the ability to, combine prices like I can in Ninja Trader 8. In the Ninja Trader 8 footprint, I can say, each level is 4 ticks. Each number is 4 ticks instead of just 1 tick. And that's absolutely essential for being able to read equity indexes. Otherwise, you can't barely even see it, right? I asked for Excel RTD. Anyways, some of the features that were listed in there, they were all kind of like meh. Like I would really like to be able to see range and tick charts in there. Yes, I don't see why those would be huge features for them to make. Just me. I'm sure that there's issues with the platform that they're working from. By the way, Treasury's seeing a little bit of a push down. Not something that I can really take advantage of yet, but for my one ticker, but we'll see. Anyways, so we'll say. But when we've been going in, I tell you, so this will get into that discussion that I was talking about earlier. I want to change my workspace, but I'm not finding a really good ways to really do what I want to do. So one thing is that I want to keep better tabs on how much volume is going through. In particular, for me to make better judgments about how long it would take you to get filled. Okay, so that's why I've got this meter over here. So it tells me, in 30 seconds, you've got 30 sells and 80 buys. So that's not even enough to move you one tick in 30 seconds right now, right? And then over 5 minutes, it's 500. So maybe we could move there's not enough volume right now for me to really take a trade in the E-mini. That's what that's about. I've been building a component. Actually, I've started it. I got a bunch of stuff working. Here's the new component that I've been working on. Right now, it just keeps track of the volume. I'm going to next thing is just to make it a rolling average. So I think what I've got to do is I think the way that I'm going to do it is every time that a new volume event comes in, it will readjust. So if there was like a ton of volume came through and then like no orders hit for like 5 minutes, the number wouldn't change. But when the number does change, I'm going to have it go in and it'll keep a list and it'll find the events that happened outside of the rolling time period and remove them and then do the calculation is what I'm thinking about doing. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but yeah. Otherwise I got to do like a ticker or something like that. Like a every 10 milliseconds or something like that, right? Just add a 5-minute chart or whatever time frame and add volume, moving average for average over X periods and volume for each candle. Well, yeah, we could do that too. But the other point is that this is going to show you what is the incoming volume compared to the level 2. So it'll like give me little lines to tell you where you are compared to the level 2. And then I think I will add a multiplier so that we can come in and can say, okay, yes, that's what the resting liquidity is, but when you add the latent liquidity on top of it, it's going to be X times much more. And I don't know, you can kind of do math with it from there if you want. So I got that bit. But the other bit that I want is that I'm trying to focus more on current data. What do you mean compared to level 2? So like right now, if I really want to pull a tick out of the 10-year treasury, I would need 4,000 orders to come through, right? For me to get filled on both sides. So what I want it to do is it'll have this little meter and it'll say, okay, right now you're getting like 300. And the first level is 2,000 right now, right? And then the next level is 5,000, right? So then you should be able to say, okay, like here we're in a really fast moving market, and just based off of the volume that we're getting in, this is how many ticks it can potentially move. So you were adding both BBO. What do you mean by BBO? But yeah. And then I have one that will be buys and sells, So then I can be able to see, okay, I'm seeing enough volume and a balance of volume to do my work. Yeah, best bid, best offer. But it wouldn't even be just best bid, best offer. It would be like, here's one level, and here's 2 ticks, and here's 3, 4, 5, Something like that. is what I'm thinking. So I got the main components built up for it. So I think I should be able to finish it here soon. If I don't get lazy. Sometimes I'll come up to a point where I have to make a technical decision. Like when do you take off volume that is no longer in the rolling period, right? Is a great example. And right now everything happens on when there is market data. So if I don't do it unless there's market data, that's a problem. But if I do it every market data, then when a lot of stuff is coming in, that's a lot of superfluous calculations too. So maybe I should try and use a sequential thing. I don't know. That's what I'm looking at. But then this is the other part, okay? I'll answer all your questions first. If you do it that way, it won't be precise. Can't account for pulling order. Yeah, you're right. I think it's more reliable to know how much volume is actually flowing and look at resting orders afterwards. Well, yeah, but it's going to show you both, right? It's going to show you how much volume is flowing in compared to what the level 2 is at that moment. And then you should be able to look through at and say, this is what the latent and resting liquidity is doing, and so I need to factor in this much more for it. But if I'm playing the queue, what is resting matters more, right? So that's kind of why I'm taking it from that perspective. Because if there's an iceberg, that's fine. That's if I'm only looking for one tick, right? Then it's fine. If there's an iceberg there, whatever. I have a good spot in the queue. Get what I mean? Yeah, I think it'll be interesting when we get it. It should be a fun toy. It should be a fun toy to look at a little bit. I think that's kind of what Jigsaw was trying to do with their activity meters. These, I'll bring one up. Oh, didn't work. That's funny. Anyways. Oh, I wonder if that's, well, let's try it one more time. There, now it works. I think that's what they're trying to do with these meters, right? But I don't think that the meters do the best job. I think market making in bonds is harder being a pro rata market for that sun unit. Well, so actually most of the queues in the bonds are first in, first out still. I think it's only the 2-year that's not. The thing that I'm finding in the treasuries is that it's just hard to play the queue in general these days. I think that you really got to have good flow coming through. No, it's not. Let's look it up. Okay. CME instrument Q. I'll go whatever. That is a Globex product reference sheet is what I think we want. Oh, we've already downloaded one. But I will open this one. Oh, there you go. Okay, so if we come in, we're looking for energy. I'm looking for interest rates. Energy options. Here's equity indexes. FX products. Interest rates. 10-year Treasury notes. First in, first out, percent allocation, 100%. I guess it's different in spreads. Let's see here. It's a 100%, 100%, 100%, but then when you get to the 2 year, it's 40%. Is that proof? Well, we're all on the same page. It's first in, first out. The 10-year is first in, first out. But here's the thing that I'm finding is that the big guys must know that, and probably know that people want to try and play the queue. I remember standing 50 in the queue and seeing 100 trade in no fills. I don't know. Could be that you weren't really 50 in the queue. Sometimes it depends on what platform you were using. So if it was Jigsaw and Jigsaw was telling that you were 50 in line and you didn't get filled, that would be weird. Because Jigsaw is more strict than it should be in estimating your position in the queue. If it was like Ninja Trader or Sierra Charts, then I'm not surprised. Because those platforms assume that like every order that cancels, they assume that every order that cancels is ahead of you in the queue. Whereas Jigsaw assumes that it's like only 1/3 of them are ahead of you in the queue. Probably it should be based off of where they estimate you in the queue to be already. Because like if you're at the beginning, if you're close to the front of the queue, then the chances of one of the orders canceling is in front of you is a lot less than if you're at the back of the queue, right? But I digress. There's models to explain that stuff. Or to estimate that stuff. But the Sierra Charts and Ninja Trader one assume that like every order is in front of you, and so sometimes they'll say that you're at the beginning of the queue when you're really not. But for me, when I haven't touched the 10-year in a while because I just kind of decided that it wasn't working and there was too much risk. But when I was doing it, I usually got filled before I thought I would. So that's cool. But here's the thing that I find happens to you though, is so you'll go in and you'll say, okay, I think I can get one right here. I want to buy 29 and sell 29.5. And if they fill you at 29, it won't be like, okay, some volume trickles in, you get filled, and then there's still 1900. You see what it did? What happened? They sold it, 597 traded, and it ticks down, and most of them pulled. And that happens to you a lot in the 10-year. And I think it's on purpose. Like if it's like these guys know that if they're going to take a price, that they should just take everything that's being offered to you all at once. You make sense? And that way, anybody that actually is trying to do some sort of market making there, always gets the toxic fill. The moment, though, I think that I would have to read this action down here as that the market makers don't want to hold bids. You know, I think that if we were going to do something, we should do it on there. Now, are we getting enough volume in to do this trade? I don't think so, but they're pulling. And the E-mini did just start, so we'll see. Lucas says that's probably, oh yeah, when we're talking about the key thing. Anyways, I have found some spots where I really do think I can pull a tick out in the 10-year, though. I'm not necessarily seeing it here. We're actually well past the spot where the one I would normally try and take it. Well, the E-mini has started up here. The initial move is down. It was going down heading into this as well, though. It's pretty slow, too. But it was a good 2,000 contracts down. Anyways, I didn't finish the whole thing. Look, you distracted me, Lucas. No, it was good. It was a good discussion, informational, probably for people. The thing that I want now, though, is I want to track a bunch of stuff at the same time. That's what I'm really thinking right now. So I got this dollar over here. You see it on the left, that little chart, and I can just get this little number 91.69. Hey, let's change that. Is it in data series or is it in properties where you change that? Label. No, that's not it. Maybe I need to go into properties. Font 11 pixels. What if I came in and I said that it's 18? Sure. I mean, that looks stupid, but it's better. I want to see that I got this little tiny number over here in this chart for the dollar. And when that dollar ticks down, I want to notice. They're messing with it. I need to wait to get filled first. So how can I better track the dollar? By the way, the dollar just dropped and the equity's running up there. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. Now, one way that you could keep track of things would be the market analyzer, right? Well, that's really hard to look at the list price here and see how much it changed and stuff. Maybe if their market analyzer had stuff built into it to only change to highlight the number that just changed and over a time period to tell you if it was up or down or something like that. Because I just don't notice when they change and I don't keep, it's hard to keep track of them. So you get what you see what I'm getting at? So like all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I think that what I really want to do is I want to look at as many current prices as I can and track as many as I can. And then when you look at the kind of tools that you would use to do that, none of the trading platforms are actually good at it. Yes, market analyzer is the shittiest quote. So who has the best quote board, do you think? Who do you think has a better quote board? And that's where when I was getting into the jigsaw stuff, That's when I was like, okay, well, that's cool that that's what they're focused on. And I get that that's why the audience would prefer those things. But you know what I would like? I would like Jigsaw to create a quote board and have a column like the recenter button, where it will tell you how much it has moved since you recentered it. Can a quote board even be that shitty? Well, like, that's the thing, is like, everybody says, everybody thinks all you got to do is just be able to show me like the net change, high and low, etc., etc. But when you really get into it, it can be so much more complicated than that, but nobody ever bothers to do the work. We have found a market inefficiency, I think, here in the software market, that nobody makes a very good market analyzer. And furthermore, very few platforms have the tools built in for properly analyzing correlations. Like, we went in and we created a co-integration indicator. I'm still not, I haven't really like back tested it or anything, but there wasn't one for NinjaTrader 8. Somebody had made one in NinjaTrader 7 and it wasn't very popular and it never got moved over. And so I had to move it over myself. Isn't that interesting? Adrian says, okay, gang, let's make quote board software. Well, I'm seriously considering just going into NinjaTrader 8 and being like, okay, fine, I'll make my own market analyzer. But then I started thinking about what the features that I would... So one feature that I would like to have is just a button that I push that would be like a recenter button. So I could do that. I went in and I tried to see if I could add it to the market analyzer itself, and it doesn't look like it's possible. I might be able to make it so that a little window will pop up, and if you click the button on that window, it will do it, but I haven't tried that yet. Haven't looked into that yet. Oh, when will Coinbase start trading? It's trading right now. We better pull that up, huh? We better pull that up, huh? So then I'm like, well, maybe I should just make my own full quote board in NinjaTrader. I don't know. But then I look at, okay, so how do you do it? Okay, if the price ticked and it ticked up, then show the digit that changed in a red color for a few moments or something like that. You know, like, oh, hold on a second. I told it to get rid of that. I don't know why it does that. Anyways, it can get really complicated. And how do you work on that out? Oh, so look, GameStop is trying to make a move up today. And jumping up here today. But today, we need to look at COIN. No data available. Boo. Lucas sent me a picture. Let's see. This is how I keep track on multiple DOMs. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. So I've been thinking about doing that because I came in and I was like, okay, let's just add a bunch of DOMs and I'll get rid of everything except for the price. Well, it doesn't let you do that. You still have to have the best bid ask and everything like that. And then like I make the spawn. Anyways, I didn't like it, but then I thought, well, I could overlay, lay them over top of each other. That would be great. Except the thing that matters to me the most is the dollar index, and I have to calculate that synthetically, and no platform has it. So if I'm going to really do this, I need to have a good way to keep tabs on it in NinjaTrader, right? That using a synthetic instrument. I don't know. Actually doing it over here on the chart is not so bad now that I have it bigger. I wish I could get rid of the Ninja Trader, text at the bottom. Ugh. What if I change the text here and I make it clear, transparent, apply? Well, wait, what is that? 91.66. Oh, that was just my cursor. Well, maybe that's okay. IPO canceled? Inconceivable. What? I don't think that it's actually gone live yet. The reference price is 250, and when I come into Fidelity, they are showing 250. So does it not start trading yet? It will start trading yesterday? Oh, Adrian says I'm joking. Okay. It kind of looks like it's not trading yet, though, huh? Well, this bull run is looking great. Volume. Oh, and look, I got my fill. And now, I wasn't paying very good attention to it. Now get rid of my P&L window. Crap. Okay. It's like I can't really tell if it ever ticked into 29.5. Oh, actually I can. It looks like it probably did tick into 29.5 a little bit, so. But we're okay, I think. As long as it didn't go into 28 or into 30. So let's try stacking the DOMs. Let's do that. The other thing that I'm concerned about is the data that you're bringing in. Oh my gosh, the freaking NASDAQ is just a zoo. I bring up the NASDAQ and I'm just like, I don't want that on my screen. Oh, it's so annoying how much it moves. Okay, we turn all the things off. And I need to come in here. What font size was I using over here? 9. Okay. So we will make this 9. Da, 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 da. The other thing that was annoying is that there's a limit on that's as small as it will let you make it. Isn't that funny? Okay, so we can come in here and I can do like that. Da, 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 da. Wait, why is because there's the 1. I mean, that's not bad. Let's save that as minimal. What is mini DOM here? Mini DOM. I don't know what that's about, but minimal Minimal is what I want. Da, 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 da. YM settings. Minimal. There we go. Maybe just decimals. I could only just show the last spot. I got plenty of room over there. You know, and that's where I was also thinking, you know, I could put a bunch of DOMs down here like that. Could put, you know, I could add gold and oil up there too. Get an ultra wide, you need more screen size? I feel like I have enough screen space. I don't know. It's not until I start adding fidelity in here that then I'm like, I don't have enough room. But I have tons of things on here that I really kind of, I'm like, do you really need them? I feel a little bit attached to, like, this chart down here. I feel a little bit attached to this chart, but do I really use it? Not sure that I really actually use it. So maybe I should just replace that and put a bunch of DOMs there. Okay, fair. But the issue is still, regardless of all of that, the thing that I really care about is, or not that I really care about per se, but the one that I think matters the most for me right now is this dollar. This dollar. Okay. Do that. Then I don't get to see any of my little, you know, I think they're so much fun. By the way, did I was noticing that over here wasn't getting the clicky click? Is it just because you're not getting that big of orders anymore? No. Is it because I got the name of it wrong? Is there a space at the beginning of it or something? No, there you gotta click. Okay. These are these don't have to be front and center. I still want to be able to read these though. I'm surprised you still have the 5-year and 30-year on my screen. Oh yeah. The thing is that without having them on the screen, I really can't tell what's going on in the treasuries. But I get what you're saying because I don't really live trade the treasury anymore, do I? I want to. I don't know why I want to anymore. Maybe there's no reason for me to do that, and it's just like a personal thing, you know? But, you know, I really don't see how you to figure out what the curve is doing without having all three of them up there and being able to see the depth on them. Do you see the skew on it right now? Thinkorswim says Coinbase IPO can be seen around 10:20 Eastern time. Ticker coin. So I did get the ticker right. It's just too early, I guess. Now remember, this is not an IPO, it is a direct listing. That kind of matters. And they set the reference price to be $250, which is probably ridiculously low. So I betcha if you were somehow able to, and I don't think that we would be able to, but if you were somehow able to put a market buy order and be the first person to buy it at $250, that you would probably make a quick 50%. Another guy said it's about 80% overvalued. Beats me. All I know is that the first trade is gonna be a buy. That's all I can tell you. If it's Coinbase, right? If Coinbase starts trading and the first candle, the first 1 minute candle, let's even say the first 5 minute candle on the ticker is red, I will be the most shocked I have ever been. I'm not saying that I'm sure of this and that this is like a trade you should take or anything like that, because the issue with that thing is going to be getting filled, right? But if the first 5 minute candle is not a green candle, I will be absolutely shocked. But I guess that's 25 minutes from now. And you can see it here first on Speculator Says Day Trading. That's what I need is I need like a hard guitar riff and, you know, to go along with my dramatic music for the starter. Well, it looks like the bullishness still going. Why would it IPO? So it's not an IPO. It's a direct listing. I think that's important. Okay. They're not raising new cash with it. It's just a direct listing. So that's really important. People already have shares and those insiders are just going to be able to sell their shares to us. Okay. But, why would it IPO after the market open? I don't know. Is that how they usually do those sorts of things? I don't know. I don't follow these very often. Still, first 5 minutes is going to be a green candle. I don't think I could trade it. I don't think I'd get filled, but you know, we can put like $10 on it or something. News Squawk tweets Coinbase ? And markets are like, pause. Where are you? Let's be having you. That's funny. Well, so I got to come in here and look at a couple of things. So they are touching yesterday's high now. Little bit of absorption up in there. Well, we're not the only ones that are confused why it's not starting to trade, but you know what? Very often times they don't really put, the information is not really available to us. It's like the people that work at the exchange, they know, but we're not privy. The cutoff time is right before the stock lists, and we know the listing price. Anything after that is disqualified, says Larry Cermak. So the reference price is $250, but that's not necessarily what it's going to start at. What do you think it's going to start at? I'm going to go out on a limb and say it starts trading at over 400. Maybe that's too high. Maybe 320 would be good. No, 420. Okay, 420. If it's below 420, we want to buy it, and then that's 420 is what our target should be. You can. Well, I'll be on here. I'll tweet it. I'll tweet it. 420. I'm putting a S4 420 price target on hashtag coin. For meme's sake. Gabriel, how are you? Sim pointing out Iran enriching uranium up to 60%. Oh, 420, 69. Of course. Why did I think of that? Yeah, so Iran wants to enrich uranium up to 60%, but I think that they're going to have a very difficult time doing that with all of their centrifuges offline due to a lack of power. So let's think about this for a second. So one thing is that people were saying, obviously, I mean, this is stuff that could matter to markets, even if it doesn't directly matter to markets. We can kind of do this analysis and we can kind of see how these sorts of things can play out sometimes, and it can be interesting. Obviously, Israel did it, right? I mean, like, they didn't take responsibility for it, but I think we all know that it was Mossad, and that, you know, Mossad has been undermining these things for quite some time. But here's the thing that I think is another part of that is that some people were saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, Israel did it, but maybe the United States is kind of coming in and saying, you know, that we want you to do that because they're negotiating and they want the negotiations to be more favorable. And if there's not this threat that they're going to have weapons grade uranium like imminently, then the United States will be more anxious to make a good deal, but that should give them more, you know, negotiating room. That one just doesn't. Okay, we need more negotiating room to prevent nuclear war. Whatever. But here's the thing. What's going to, with Israel doing this, what's going to stop them? Like, this is like the third attack they've done on the Iranian nuclear program. They can't do squat. This whole thing that in the modern era that it's not all out war anymore. They don't do that anymore. It's all, you know, spy stuff and little skirmishes and proxy this and proxy that. You know what I mean? And you can see it, and this is the perfect example of why. Mossad can do like whatever it wants. Who's going to stop them? Who's going to stop them? This is the third one, right? They actually blew up some of the centrifuges, for one, and then there was their top nuclear scientist was assassinated, and now they're doing this. Yeah, what's going to stop them? So I'm kind of thinking about this now, and like this whole concern, like the United States needs to do something about this and all that sort of stuff. And now I'm looking at it and I'm like, actually, no, because Mossad is probably more effective at doing something about this anyways. I don't know. I guess there's probably a limit, but do you trade Bitcoin? No, I don't. I really wouldn't recommend day trading Bitcoin. Although with Coinbase out there, I suppose you could do that now. Maybe with options. I think I would rather do it with options. There's still this issue of like, if you're really, really going to actively day trade something, is the wash sell rules, right? That can cause some issues. So I don't know, but the issue in Bitcoin is still that like, is a whale gonna buy it or sell it today? Who knows? I'm not privy to that information. If I was regularly privy to that information, maybe I would trade it. Did anyone take it? Well, I took this long here in the E-mini, and I did take my one ticker in the 10-year, so was pretty happy with how it worked out too. Gonna need a lot of data to see how good this thing in the 10-year actually is, though. But the thing that's nice about the 10-year is that I have some edges that show me very clearly where kind of the limits tend to be. And so I can kind of use those turning points as a place to pick up a ticket, which seems to work really well. As long as it's in line with, everything else, all the correlations and stuff. Now this move back up, see, here's the thing. I didn't notice. I'm yapping. Maybe it's just I need to practice watching it. But the 10-year or the dollar has moved back up significantly. It was at 62. It is now at 70. So it's moved up 8 cents. And as it has moved up 8 cents, the equity markets have really backed off. Yeah, HF, it's one tick. I'm just taking one tick. I could try for 2, but I'm really trying to use the Q to my advantage. So I'm trying to use my edge that I get from like the inventory cost basis and so forth in conjunction with the Q to get one tick in the 10-year. What about commission? What about it? Hey, listen, if I can get one tick and I can win 70% of the time, and my losers are one tick too, then I think we're good to go. And you know what? Commissions will suck, but oh well. Frankly, for that trade, if I came out and it was like over the long run break even, I'd be happy with it. Lean on the ultra bonds as well. I could. I think that the 30 though should be enough for me to be able to see what I need to. Now, one thing that I do think I need to understand is how does the correlation between something that I really need to understand better is how does the correlation between the treasuries and the dollar index work? Because it seems to me like there is a correlation, but it is exceptionally complicated. Oh, did Jay finally start taking some trades? Yes, he did. But of course, they're losing trades. Of course. That's actually a pretty big bad hit rate there for Jay. Those last two. I was like, you gotta be careful about leaning on prices because in the 10-year, because like I said, like they like to clear prices, man. They'll pull it and clear it, and then you're screwed. And I feel like they do that on purpose. I feel like that the informed traders over there in the treasuries are like, if I'm gonna buy something, I'm gonna buy everything on offer. Representative Tim Burchett says, Dogecoin, that's all I have to say, as he walked past reporters this morning in the Capitol. Being reported by Jake Sherman. Well, that's freaking hilarious, I guess. That is so funny that Dodge, I am a little bit surprised. Should I say surprised? I guess I shouldn't say surprised, but impressed. Let's say impressed. I'm a little bit impressed that they were able to break a new high from recent. I still don't think they're going to make it to $1. The chances of them getting to $1 are look at how much money people have had to put into it just to get it to where it is, and then you think they're going to make it to $1? No. If Dogecoin makes it to $1, I can do something humiliating, right? On stream. Because I really don't think it's going to happen. Well, I see a little bit of absorption here. Not so sure. Kind of seems like not so much a lack of liquidity here as it is just shyness. There was a lot traded there at 41, 42 and a quarter. But given everything else, I think that getting our target should be pretty easy. Treasuries are coming back up. $30 might be an interesting price to trade around. Let's reset everything. So let's go over here. How are things doing? Corn up 1.8. Oil 1.8. RTY leading the indexes with 1.74. So those small caps have been underperforming lately. Now they're doing well. I guess that's good. Next you get YM and ES. NQ actually slightly negative today. Also, Bitcoin down just a tad, spot 1.6, and we're still waiting about 10 minutes to Coinbase here, right? Did we put into our Coinbase ticker coin starts trading? So they would be limit or yeah, I'm always doing limit orders. This is a no trade market so far, yeah. But you see, they just plowed right through that 30 that I was interested in. I'm still kind of interested in this area, but you're just not getting the volume for it. Market holding fine. Yeah, so there was that little comeback. I think primarily because, well, maybe not primarily. The dollar index came back first and then equities kind of pulled back. Zero Hedge says Coinbase indicated to open at 340. That's the price I'm getting. Print Trading, who is that? Class A shares indicated to open at 340 in NASDAQ debut versus reference price of 250 per share. Who is this? Team of traders with 5 to 32 years of experience. Tweets are not financial advice. Oh, this guy actually tweets good shit. It's like it's just news, but I'm gonna follow him. Let's open it 60 plus at least. Baba, it had the same story. They overpriced it, and it feels too heavy. It's going to tank within 15 minutes, but initially it will push. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't. I don't know, man. If Coinbase closed the day down, that would blow my mind. That would be mind blown if Coinbase ended the day down. And at that point, wow, what would happen to Bitcoin? That would be crazy, right? Trading Floor Audio tweets, single Pfizer or AstraZeneca dose produces a strong antibody response, says The Guardian. Scientists say the AstraZeneca vaccine has a greater effect when it comes to the cellular response. Sputnik V analysis of adverse events during clinical trials over the course of mass vaccinations with Sputnik V vaccine showed there were no cases of CVST, which I believe is the blood clots, right? Well, they're not holding it for the moment. Just get all of the vaccines so you can be extra immune. The whole thing is great. So you know what I was seeing here, and there was this lady here in Utah that died after they had the vaccine. It was an interesting discussion though, because I was saying, like, my wife was pointing it out, and I was like, yeah, but like if somebody dies within like a week of having the vaccine, they say that they had the vaccine and died, but they can't really pinpoint the cause to the vaccine. But then when you hear her story, it was like she got the vaccine, she was feeling a little sick from it, but it was fine. Then the next day she wasn't feeling very good. She said that her dad needed to take her to the hospital. She was having like heart palpitations and like racing heart and stuff like that, and she died. And this lady was not, as far as I can tell from reading the story, she didn't have any health problems. Like, she was a young mother, in fairly good shape and all of that stuff. She wasn't fat or any of those odd complicating factors. But then I was like, so do they know what it is? And was reading from a doctor that was like, you can never, like, you're never going to see on an autopsy that they died from the vaccine, because it's really hard for them to prove that, you know, the death was caused by the vaccine itself. I was like, was kind of weird. So I think they said that there's been like 50 deaths, but like with as many people as are getting the vaccine, there's a certain number that are just going to die of natural causes, you know? So how do you know? How do you know that it's like enough of a concern? Well, there's the blood clot thing. There's the blood clot thing. But the thing with the blood clot thing is that it seems to me like the media is sensationalizing it. It sounds to me like it's a pretty rare thing, and that they know what the risk factors are. So probably no reason to stop it. Now I wonder, will Fidelity start giving me the data as soon as it comes in, or am I going to have to like reload something? Well, we can try reloading it just here right now. We can come into, we'll do GameStop here. And now I will try coin. No data available. And it still says 250 at the top, even though we know the IPO is going to be 320. What was it? 310, 320? It's going to go up $100, guys. You want to make $100? I mean, I'm going to be interested to see if you market buy on the open, what price might you end up getting? Let's see, because it is not going to be very liquid, right? Ooh, actually, you know what? That's what we can do. Hold on a second. Ah, yes. Okay. I can see the level. I can see level 2. There are on the bid tens of thousands of orders here for a stock that is going to be $100. It's going to be $300. So there's like a couple $1,000,000 at every price here. Okay, should be trading now. Maybe not. Here in 349. GameStop giving up its initial gains this morning. Data not available. Oh, I want to trade it, guys. They told me 820. This is an outrage. Yeah, Adrian says he can't pull it up on Thinkorswim either, so. Okay. Hey, maybe we were a little, maybe we got it wrong. Maybe it'll be at the bottom of the hour. Or maybe something's wrong. I don't know. Oh, why do you think it went long there? That's interesting. Did you check the price on FT? What is that? Look, I have Fidelity. I can't see it on Fidelity yet. I can see the order book on Fidelity, apparently. And XNMS is all of the only market where I can see stuff. So I don't think it's actively trading yet. Nope, had a little brown out there. This is why you need a good UPS, folks. By the way, the 10-year did kind of do a little bit of the turn that I wanted to see, but it's just still not quite the volume that I want. Not quite the volume that I want, I don't think. Also a little unsure about the direction that this is going today, so I don't know if I was going to take one at 30 there, if I would want to go short here. If I can get filled there, I think I can get away with it. I don't even know if I'll get filled there, though. Dollar has been coming up and getting a little bit stronger here. My wife just gave me a signal buy channel bag. Chanel bag. Okay. Well, ticked through. It's like I'm saying, it's really hard to like get filled and then not tick through you in the 10-year. Neo down 2.3%, huh? I mean, Neo's kind of old news now, isn't it? I think I forget what it was, but there was like that one event when it kind of came off from its peak and people haven't been nearly as interested in it since. Yeah, so the dollar kind of moving up here a little bit is causing some more consternation. Is that the right word? You know what? Sometimes I'll say words and I almost always use them in the right context, but then I'm like, wait, I don't actually know what that means. Consternation, feelings of anxiety or dismay, typically at something unexpected. Yes. The dollar, but look at that. The E-mini just cancels it right out and pivots almost immediately back up. The Vlad says, I don't believe in the market going down anymore. Is that like a new religion? I get you. I don't believe in selling. I don't think that Steve believes in selling. It is yeah. You know what? You know, we keep talking about how it seems to me like people need something to believe in and that they need kind of that ritual and stuff in their life. And because people are turning away from religion, that maybe, well, not maybe, but because they have been less interested in Christianity lately, that they've been turning to political parties for their religion. And I'm thinking, hey, maybe what would be most beneficial for society is if everybody believed in Bullinism. Yeah? Is that what we can call it? Bullinism? S&P 500 marked another day of gains as Bullinist extremists continued buying the index up to all-time highs. Church of Bull. And I love that it's Bull because, you know, it sounds like you're going to say bullshit, but oh, that's we can run with this one. We can run with this one. Oh man, Vlad is saying what Kramer said on TV. Investors should start a position in Coinbase below 475 and double down on the stock on a decline, he said. Wow, okay. That's awfully bold. But you know what? He has the ability to come in and say, like, this is what it's worth. He's smart like that. I would really like this to go up to my target. I should have taken it off up here, though, off of all of the absorption and stuff. So the thing is if they come up and fill me, what are the chances they going higher, right? So maybe I should move it to here. Kramer with a K is better than Kramer with a C. I just want to see the price of coin. Okay. Jimmy bouncing. Still not available. Maybe at the bottom of the hour. Maybe. Wow. The E-mini kind of bounced back there, and now they're pushing back down again. And the dollar kind of being wishy-washy here. 91.71. NQ selling a bit. Yes, NQ continues to be the laggard today. Negative 4%. Yeah, we don't believe in selling. I'm totally down. That means I need to cancel all of my sell orders, right? Oh my gosh, this is bad right here. So that one should be like that. All right, so if I'm going to do this over in the treasuries, I got to pay better attention. You know, this is like the second time that it's done this to me, though, where it's like, man, I got a good spot. Should be easy for me to get filled at 29.5, and then they do everything they can to not do it. And they dance around, and last time they did eventually come down back to me, but Lagarde inflation measurement was one of the main issues raised at the ECB Listens event. Okay. Of course. Everybody concerned about the inflations. Oh, we're going to get the EIA report now, right? Yeah, equity's moving a little bit on it. Good coal, oil moving up. So it's a draw, and they're moving up. Oh, okay, so I got out -2. Worst case scenario, it should be -2. So I think I fixed my mistake. You see this coin stuff? I am not seeing, it is not showing up on my Fidelity yet. Let's try refreshing it again. If I go over to a different chart, I look at GameStop bouncing a little bit, and come back to coin, nada. What if I come to trading view maybe? Coinbase Global. Hey, it's showing me something if I do coin. It doesn't look like it's actually the actual price that I'm seeing, but it's showing me something. The order book. Well, so you're talking about this thing over here. So it's changed a little bit, but there is a 64K. But look, none of these are gonna be legit because it's supposed to open at like 320, right? And so none of these guys are gonna get filled. Oh, I didn't even realize that this was shares and this is price. What? So all of the bids that they have in there are like 10,000? What? Well, what do you think about that? You think I should take it off here? I'm kind of tired of waiting on it. This is the thing. So I bet you it goes higher though. Oh, they're chopping. Look at that. Actually, look at that. They're chomping at the bit. The NASDAQ is looking a little lackadaisical today, though, isn't it? They want to go get it. Look at that. There you go. New high. New high. I'm guessing 650 top out. Well, our price target is 420.69, and that's as far as I'm willing to go. Oh, and that the first 5-minute bar will be green, and that it will end the day positive, and that's it. That's all. That's as much speculation as speculator Seth is willing to speculate on today. And only to add that I am starting a new religion called Bullinism, and we don't believe in selling. So, yeah, damn treasuries, they come up pretty okay there. I do want to try again. But that one, so if we do it again, we got to really, really focus in on the treasury, right? And be active with it and scratching it, because I might have been able to scratch that. We weren't really getting the volume through. So let's wait. If we do it again, we really want to be having some volume come through. Your longer target is 41.88. Well, I don't even know what my prices should be. I just know there's like this absorption at 41.42. So they pushed through new high. They're coming back to the scene of the crime. We'll see if they've got what they do from here. So I've found that it's really hard to predict which way it's going to go from here. Usually, if there's some support, some absorption, that's a good sign. But hasn't proven to be very reliable for me. Well, let's come in and look at the Bitcoins. The Bitcoins had an initial down or kind of moving up lately, but oil 62.25 now, so up a whole dollar. Up a whole dollar today off of that surprise build. Or sorry, surprise draw. It was a surprise draw. It's like surprise build. Then why is it up? That not making sense. No. I just want to see the Coinbase IPO. Coinbase will debut on Wall Street today. Here's what you need to know from the New York Times. Blah, 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 blah. Why it matters. Nobody cares. There's giant risks. Nobody cares. He doesn't give me a time. IG Squawk says coin indicating at 350. Auction process still ongoing. No firm confirmation of when trading will commence. Will be available for trading online once it does. Okay, so they're doing something and we have to wait. By the way, look at how quickly the dollar dropped there. J-Pop banned it from like... What do we got to do? What do we got to do to make it so that when the dollar moves that I notice it? Do I need to put like a little indicator sound on every tick on the dollar? Haven't been hearing many clicks over in the minis, by the way. That's another thing. We're actually still like right where I took it off. My E-mini trade. Actually, I took it off at 41.50, so... Man, my algorithms at the beginning of the day didn't take really very many trades. And now all of a sudden here in this market, they're taking a ton of trades. So kind of odd. Kind of odd. Oh yeah, I saw that Bernie. I didn't. Somebody pointed out here in chat, and I didn't say anything. But Bernie Madoff, Ponzi mastermind Bernie Madoff dies at age 82. Well, that was not really what you necessarily want to see on a break of a new high in the indexes, is it? Okay, now I gotta focus in on this thing. They're talking about the oil. It's still going. 62 spot 86. Should we add it over here? We should be adding it. CO. We should be what, on May? Oh no, CL. Oh yeah, May is correct. Okay. And we just kind of move our dollar back a little bit. Oh, then I have to pull out these other ones in the right order. Da, 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 da. Oops. Oops. There we go. NASDAQ still being kind of a bummer today. You see that? It's because nobody wants to trade all of the, listen. Why buy ARK, Tesla, NEO? What else have we got? What else has been big? GameStop, of course. Listen, why would you trade these things when you can trade Coinbase? Billions of dollars in profits, guys. Come on. The future of money? I don't think it is, but come on. Everybody wants to trade it. You know it's true. Now, the 10-year has a difficult decision here, right? Which way should they decide to screw over Seth? Should we clear 30.5 and go up to the high of the day? Or should we go down through 29.5 and go to the low of the day, you see? Either way, I lose, right? Should we get gold up there too? Let's do it. GC. Oh, I need to come in here and update something, I guess. Download instruments. Which one does it come from? It's not NYMEX, is it? Okay, well, I got a fill there. They didn't clear me. Okay. Now I'm going to have to look it up. GC futures. COMEX, of course. Of course, I knew that. It says nothing. It won't give me nothing. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna reload everything, every index here. See what we get. Reload all, download. And they stopped me out in my treasury trade. But it did do it correctly. It did do it correctly. So obviously I'm not getting an edge, but the execution here and how I want to get out and everything, that was correct. So that's good. here on this. I can bring that in a little bit. Okay. So now if I try and download it, will it let me see? Aha. And we want June. Well, I still don't know what exchange it was coming from, but I just did them all and give it to me. We'll have to go and find that later. Okay. See, NQ goes up. Never saw. Yeah. Critics claim Bitcoin is a threat to the environment. They're wrong. That's the most ridiculous headline I've ever seen on Zero Hedge, but let's read it. One popular critique of Bitcoin is energy cost per transaction that doesn't begin to capture Bitcoin's massive energy savings compared to fiat currency. Completely irrelevant. So listen, the amount of energy that Bitcoin uses compared to other fiat currencies is irrelevant. What matters is the cost of energy for Bitcoin transactions compared to other cryptocurrencies. And there are other cryptocurrencies that are much more efficient, and they will win out, I think. Might take a long time. There might be a lot of wailing and gnashing. Oh, by the way, dollar getting creamed here. Might be a bunch of wailing and gnashing of teeth in the meantime, but I think that one way or another, something's going to have to replace Bitcoin. Well, now that I'm seeing the dollar moving like that, I'm thinking, hey, Seth, you want to be long the E-mini? Yeah, they're coming back. They're coming back. Amazon had a negative 1% day? Really? I don't know. I think you're distracting me, Vlad. The only thing that matters is that I can't see Coinbase charts on my screen. When is this going to happen? Are we going to miss it? Am I going to miss it? It's not going to go until after Seth is gone. They're watching me. They have over there at the NASDAQ, they've got the stream up and they're like, well, we can't let Seth get any traffic from Coinbase starting to trade. So, he usually stops his stream at the top of the hour. So we'll wait for him to stop. And then that's what's going to happen, right? I'm going to miss it. Well, that's okay. Somebody will be coming in later and they'll be like, oh, look, here's somebody has, a video that Coinbase started trading. Let's watch it. Okay. Well, I want to see it start trading. So they'll watch and then they'll get to the whole video and be like, oh, wait, you never actually got it. Yeah. Yeah. Never actually got to see it. So sad. I mean, I'll still watch it. We'll be talking about it in Discord, but we should change this to like, I have a channel called #GameStop, but it should be #meme stocks or something like that. All right, I'm going to change the edit channel, meme stocks. How do you feel about Neo? So I don't have any opinions on it at the moment, but I remember when it was going up, me thinking that you're all crazy and buying this for no reason, and that there was a lot of silly behavior around it. So the piece of advice that I would give you here, so I just made a channel in Discord for meme stocks. I think it's fun to look at the popular stock that day, like Coinbase. Like everybody's going to be watching it. Come on, and it's to the detriment of other trades. I think, but they don't necessarily end up being the best investments. So there's a lot of research on this, and something that's really interesting is that the hot stock that the retail traders are all chasing after actually does tend to do really well, but the retail traders as a whole don't make money off of it. Isn't that weird? So it'll go up like 10%, but like the retail horde as a whole will make 5% on it. Like they underperform. Why is that? I don't know. But it seems to me that you don't really want to get in on the stock when it's already hot. Right? You want to get in on the stock before it's hot. You want to get in, it's hot, you get the momentum, and you just let it ride. So Neo is, to me, is old news. GameStop, old news. Need to see something new in GameStop to be like, right? What's the new hotness? Coin. COIN. So, and that leaves us where we are here now. Not being able to see Coinbase today. I am so sorry, guys. But I gotta get going. Kind of sucks stopping the stream at the top of the hour, but you know what? We used to stop the stream at 8:30, so that's okay. And we'll see you guys stop after 9 o'clock anyways. That's when view count starts going down, so I'm so sorry, guys. But it's okay. We started a new religion today. I think that's some progress. So I will see you guys tomorrow. And remember, never sell. No, stay profitable, friends.